Yeah, hi there, Christique. This is Michael. So let's take a look at your practice test. So under my step 6 of my 7-step system to pass a TOEFL test, you sent me an email and said you took practice test number 8. So let's see what we have. So we got attempt 2. I'm sure I'm going to find your name in here. So we have Christina. So it says requires grading. Perfect. Here we go. So the question here is, students at universities often have a choice of places to live. They may choose to live in dormitories, or they may choose to live in apartments in the community. Compare the advantages of living in university housing with the advantages of living in an apartment in the community. Where would you prefer to live? Give reasons for your preference. Okay, so you say, there are a lot of advantages to live either in university dormitories or in apartments in the community. Some students prefer to live in university housing because university dormitories give students the opportunity to communicate and study together. On the other hand, living in an apartment provides a peaceful environment to study and to be close to your family members and friends. Although living in dormitories is very beneficial for some students, I prefer to stay in an apartment. First of all, apartment provides a comfortable environment to study. When I was a student, I preferred to stay home instead of living in university dormitories. After a long day at university, I wanted to come home, take a nap, and do my homework. I had my private room where I was able to concentrate on studying. When I had some questions concerning my homework, I could easily call my classmates. In addition, living in an apartment gives the opportunity to be with, I would say here, my family members. I enjoyed to come home. I would say I enjoyed going home and having some homemade dinner. For example, my sister liked to cook a lot. Besides that, I was able to share all my thoughts and issues that I had in the university with my family. My sister always used to give me good advice when I needed it. Staying in an apartment is also beneficial because I would say not you, I can be close to my friends. After doing my homework, I used to spend some time with them. I like to watch movies or do some outdoor activities such as riding and hiking. In sum, I would say not in sum, in summary you could say, or to sum up, there is no doubt that living in dormitories has its advantages. It gives me the opportunity to be close to my family and friends. It also provides a nice environment to study. Okay, maybe not so good here. I mean, you definitely have good writing style. I think if you had answered the question exactly, I would have given you 5 out of 5. But remember, the question here is 2 parts. It says compare the advantages of living in university housing with the advantages of living in an apartment in the community. So I think that the paragraph 2, you should probably talk about the advantages of living in university housing. And then in paragraph 3, you talk about the advantages of living in an apartment in the community. And then you get to your own opinion. That would be what you would do in the conclusion based on the actual writing prompt. So your essay, unfortunately, doesn't really organize exactly around what the question is. So again, you didn't really answer the question. You spent more time, it looks like here. You talked about where you would prefer to live as opposed to comparing the advantages of both types of living arrangements. Now, you did mention a little bit about university dormitories in the beginning, but I don't think that's enough. What I mean to say is when you have a 2-part question like this, I would also not just mention the opposite view, I think, in the introduction, but you need to dedicate at least one full paragraph to that view because it does say compare. So it's asking you to examine the two types of living arrangements, and then you can give what your own opinion is after you've done that comparison. So how would you score right now? Probably your particular essay may not score that well. On the one hand, you definitely have really, really good writing skills. On the other hand, you did not answer the question. So I think here, your score in this essay is, I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5. Some TOEFL iBT human raters, they may disagree with me and give you a higher score just based on your really good grammar and your good vocabulary. But I think because you didn't really answer the question, I think that can cause you some trouble. Alrighty, does that make sense? So I think the thing that you might be able to learn here is definitely make sure that you answer the question. Now, you might want to take a look as you look at what you wrote and you go back to this particular web page. I also have a sample essay that shows you how you can answer the question. And if you take a look at the sample, you'll notice in the second paragraph it says the advantages of living in university dormitory. The third paragraph, the advantages of living in an apartment are fewer but more significant. And then you have the writer's own opinion, I think, at the very last paragraph. Also, I have a discussion on the page that tells you why the essay sample would score the way it does. Alrighty? Anyway, good to hear from you, and thank you for taking the practice test at my 7-step system to pass a TOEFL iBT.